YouTube, it's Brad Phillips. Look at this. We've got the Tecnam, which is 1450 millimeters. It's super duper awesome. Really fun beginner / intermediate plane, and definitely like the way it flies. It's got huge inboard flaps, and it's got some beautiful LEDs, which will help on a beautiful, calm night like tonight. As you can see, we'll be flying it where the power poles used to be. And that's an awesome place to be. Now, also, you can get this thing with floats or without. I believe ours came with floats. And so if you check out our playlist for this plane, this is what we call our second thoughts. And it's been a terrible day of doing crappy inventory. And here we are. Look at that beautiful takeoff.
Wow.
Absolutely gorgeous sunset. 3S. 2200. Look how slow you can fly that thing. It's just practically flies itself.
Those LEDs are great.
I'm intentionally trying to fly everywhere I couldn't fly before.
Retrain your brain.
Was it the Tecnam that we flew during the tornado? Or was that?
No, that was the
Let's go up a couple steps.
trucker.
That's, by the way, guys, I'm at about 39% throttle. And just take off flaps. Just look how relaxing this plane is. After a long day of tedious boredom, I could not resist a beautiful flight. We're gonna do an inside pass here. Take off flaps, watch this thing. How slow can you go? Very slow. Oh yeah, take off flaps now. Should be good. A little bit extra throttle on that turn just so we didn't slip out from under ourselves. Pushing the nose over. But if you're in the mood to really scoot around, you can do that too, out of the flaps. So here we go on 3S, just incredible performance for a little 3S. This is what it's gonna do. It'll eventually top out, and then you can just do a stall turn. And we've got the Vector in this, which is gonna be similar to your AS3X or your Reflex, depending on the brand you're using. But it's a stabilizer that comes equipped with auto leveling if you'd like to use it. I'm not using auto leveling, I'm choosing stabilization. But if you assign the right switch to it, you can turn that on or off, or you can plug it in if you don't have enough channels and actually change the setting and then leave it unplugged, I believe. Actually, we've only done that on Reflex. Let's do some upside down. You see those birds? They're tempting fate right now. They're like, look at that crazy pilot. He's upside down. What an idiot. We would never do that unless he attacked us. Then we would totally do it. Like I said, nice, relaxing flight. Guys, we just love flying. We love flying the area. It is so much fun to fly. And look how absolutely fantastic and gorgeous the view is. You can see right through into our backyard, somewhere you're not used to seeing. And you can also fly right in the front yard, which is awesome. And all we have now to run into is a transformer, which happens to be lower than the nearest obstacle, which would be a bush. Bush. Oh yeah, that was a bounce. So as you can see, there is one fatal flaw with this plane, and that is the rock hard tires. Actually, they're harder than rock. They're more like diamond tires. They're made of diamond material. You can use them to drill holes into titanium plate, and they will last forever. Our advertisers don't like to be associated with me when I make claims like that, because then they're like getting all these industrial suppliers calling like, oh yeah, I'm down here at the quarry and I need to get seven Tecnams. Yeah, I was told they last forever, but I always get a couple spares just in case my guys break them. So if you guys are in the mood for some action, you can still do that. This would be what I would qualify as an everyday flyer. It's absolutely gorgeous. And you can put floats on it and take it down to the lake. If you have a place like that to go to, it's pretty cool. But yeah, basically the gist of it is, oh, let's race him. He wants to race. Let's do it. Yeah, 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 yeah. He didn't do that at the end either. What a lame-o driver buyer. And if you guys are wondering if his juices are flowing and he's really pissed off about that airplane, I'm pretty sure he's not. Just saying. And if he is, guys, this Tecnam is just a blast. It's just one of those, you fly it and it just kind of does what you want. And it's kind of like an unsuspecting aircraft. It looks like a general aviation aircraft. But if you got into a general aviation aircraft and you tried to do some of this stuff, then you would basically be dead for sure, almost certainly. But I mean, it's just so much fun to fly these planes. And if you haven't had the experience of doing it, you got to try it. And I mean, we've made huge financial investments to be able to do it here in our own little pretend Freya. Okay, going up and over. Huge barrel rollage. I always love the ricocheting bullet sound that it makes when you come out of the throttle. Like, let's see if we can replicate it. There it is. Kind of weak that time. So what that noise is that's where the tractoring of the prop, meaning the spinning, induced from the throttle, from the motor, okay, meets the speed where it's being pushed and then whirly-gigged around by wind. And that's that noise you hear. It's a weird interaction when forces collide. Full landing flaps. Look how tight you can fly this thing. Look at this. Lots of rudder to keep it from stalling. You guys see where I'm flying here? I mean, I'm like in like a 30-foot circle there. Going around us. In pure marital bliss with gravity. Oh, I was gonna laugh if I crashed into the tree right there. Would have been like the divorce of the century. It'd been like if you're a famous football quarterback and right after you commit to retiring, your wife divorces you. That'd be terrible. Oh, jeez! Who's flying this thing? It's like kind of a little bit clunky. I was just trying to drill a hole in the driveway with the tires.
Everybody turned up their speakers so that they could hear you in your nice, like, quiet, calming, soothing voice.
Soothing.
Don't do it again.
Oh, God! Yeah! Ah!
Sorry, people. You should know better by now.
We have reputations to uphold. Okay, so I'm gonna gain some speed here, just so I can spill everybody's coffee. Okay, here we go, and then out of that loop, we're gonna go right up and down.
See, now the windsock makes me nervous.
Yeah, I know, it kind of does me too, and so we'll probably move it now that we don't occupy the same space that we couldn't use because of a power pole. Man, look at that thing, it just slows down gorgeously. I think what it is that it so violently puts you in the right direction. I think that's what's going on. It's not so much the diamond hardness of the tires. I think what it is just the angular velocity might be slightly off from the exact trajectory on the runway. So when you touch, the wheels want to pull you one way, while the rudder and airframe and everything want to pull you slightly different, and so you get that little jumping effect. But I love flying it anyway. Those are things we can live with. And by the way, can you complain about the lights though? Mm-mm. They really help. Mm-hmm.
Very much.
Let me just stall it here. Look at that. Pulling full up elevator here. Full up elevator. Look at that. Look at this stall, guys. Just using a little bit of aileron to control it. You guys see that? That is incredible. Now, I did hit a little bit hard there, but the thing is that was a full up stall, folks. I'm gonna show you that again. Woo! Wouldn't that be hilarious if our third video, we crash into the transformer?
It will happen.
So here's a slip. Okay, now full up. Watch this, guys. Ooh, gotta get a little bit more airspeed. That is a dinky little power supply, guys. Or not power supply, rather. Electronic speed control. And in true Brian Phillips RC fashion, we're pretty much gonna drain this battery just to prove to you how awesome this plane is. Oh, there it is. It's kind of a bad time for the battery to die. So we may have to kind of do it like grass landing. See if we can get it. Oh yeah. Guys, that's not for show. That's a real dead battery. Oh yeah, that is hilarious. It is totally dead, guys. Watch this. Full throttle. Do you see how it came back? And then beep, beep, beep. That's resetting the ESC. So just to let you know, if you fly this thing for 5 minutes and 42 past 5, so pretty much an 11-minute flight time, it's gonna be dead on 2200.
3S.
3S, 2200, and for your information, we were charging it at 11 amps so we could get this thing done. So all I'm gonna say is this plane is super fun to fly. It definitely is going to be nice to have floats if you're gonna fly from snow in the upcoming terrible event called winter. Gross. But also if you have a waterway that you can fly from, it's super fun to do that. And I feel like the battery is pretty easy to get in this plane. It's not one that's hard to load. I feel like it's a light plane, so it's forgiving in a lot of regards that a heavier plane wouldn't be forgiving with. But also the lights are just enough. It's not anything too fancy. I mean, obviously the fancier the better, except then that makes them heavy. So at the end of the day, the fatal flaw on this thing, and I wouldn't even call it a fatal flaw, but I would say if you had to pick a complaint, it's just the way that it interacts with the ground when touching down. Hard surfaces like this are going to exacerbate that because we have concrete with texture and it's very sticky when the wheels touch down. So if you had like a geotextile fabric, like they have in a lot of clubs, I don't think you'll experience that. Also, if you had like a semi-soft strip, like if you had grass or a very, very low cut grass, like a grass on a golf green, then you wouldn't see that either. But I suspect that the average pilot can get in and grease those main gear landings, and it's really fun. But I must say, on a tricycle, that's something that I look for. I like being able to come in and do greasy landings all day long. And so there are some competitive offerings in the size class that maybe don't have that same problem. So when I bring it up, it's not because we're trying to beat up this plane. We would love you to buy this from the links in the video description below, and then you can help support us financially by doing that. But just so you guys know, when we review planes, we don't just sugarcoat everything. I do really like flying this plane. It's a fun plane to fly. We do have quite a few in this size class, and so we don't get around to flying them that often, just because there's a lot of them in that style. But the beginner high wing tricycle configuration is a great configuration if you're a newer pilot and you want to build your skills. But I must admit, if you're going to try to do it and you want to have the best chance at success, you may want to invest in some softer tires. It will make a big improvement in your performance on landing. Because really, at the end of the day, I don't want you to feel like you're a bad pilot because you have bounces and stuff. I mean, some of those landings were pretty good, and they still bounce on me. Although my dead stick landing, near dead stick landing, was the only one that was good. And it was like by pure happenstance. It's just that, like, if your rate of descent is like minus, then you're good. So like if you're approaching the landing strip like this, you're good. If you're coming down from the air and stuff, no good.
It's tough then.
So guys, the Tecnam is really good by Arrows, so check it out in the links of the video description below. And if you buy that thing, you'll help support us with small financial contributions from the people that sell them, not from you, which is nice because you get it for the same price, or even using the coupon codes that we may or may not have on our website right now at brianphillipsrc.com, or maybe right next to the link in the video description below. Either way would be a good idea to check. Save a few bucks. That means more batteries or chargers or airplanes that you need to buy with your limited RC budget.
Flowers for your wife.
Flowers for your wife. I think you should get your wife that charger you've been needing that she also wants you to have. That's what I think you should get. Or maybe a vase for your screwdrivers. That's always a good idea.
Good.
That'll keep your marriage spicy. But anyway, when you're done with your antacid, you can just click the link down below and buy one for your very own. That's what we love doing here on Brian Phillips RC, is giving you good marriage advice. But that being said, when you're done doing that, there's so much more to come. So we hope you'll stay tuned. Brian Phillips signing out for today. But definitely don't forget, before you go, smash the like button and click the bell for notifications. And obviously subscribe. Why would you want to miss out on one moment of the fun with Brian Phillips and the wonderful camera crew? Thanks for watching.